Hi. Hey, Nikita, Hannibal, Kupo, Anthony, Frizo, Kevin, D. Hello. Hi. How is everyone? Oh, man. Hope your Saturday is going well. I am on YouTube as well. Let me just um, put my information down here for YouTube. How is everyone? Hi, Linnell Babbage. Great. Good to hear. Hello. Nice to meet you, Jen. Jen Lee's 85. Good to see you all. So, Glenn. Hey, Glenn. Glenn, help us this route. Let me put my Cash App in here for you. Hope you guys are doing well. A lot of things are on my heart lately. Just with everything going on in the country, with the Trump indictment. It's not just so much about, hey, came back on YouTube. Hi. It is not just about Donald Trump. It's about what that means for everyone else, if they will do that to a Trump, to a former president, considering all of the craziness that we have going on. What won't they do? And so some of you all know, but I am writing a book about how the left has become a cult. And all of the things that we're seeing it's part of the brainwashing process. It's part of the submission process. It's part of totalism. It's just you must submit or else. And I think Trump represents a huge that what is it, like the Rubicon, the Overton window that's been crossed, like all of these major milestones that have been crossed in the that the left is doing in order to achieve their communist goal. And it's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It is fortunate. It's like, it's a blessing to be living in this time, because it's like, oh my gosh, would have imagined that we would be, hey, Miss Jamie, hey girl. Could you imagine that we would be living in a time where we would be seeing all of these things? You got the banks failing. You have the, what they're doing to former President Trump. You have, what they're doing to our children, the education system. We have all of these things that are happening. How are you? Continue to inspire, fight. Oh, thank you so much. Y'all have no idea when people say that they are inspired, when people tell me that they are, that I inspire them to do something. It is incredibly, it helps me to keep going. You have no idea. So thank you so much. Y'all probably see it from time to time, what people say to me, the vile things that people say, the death threats, all the things. And, so I really appreciate the encouragement. I really do. It means a lot to me. It really, really does. It does help me to keep going. So I'm streaming on YouTube as well. Thank you guys. Thanks for the love. Let's see. Hey, Azarius, they will do that. Anyone like in Russia, like Iran and Venezuela, anyone in opposition may face criminal prosecution. It's really part of it. And I'm going to go through a list of the steps, the psychological steps, and show you what we're going through. And what this goes back to Mao. This is where communism got their process of thought reform, of brainwashing. I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but these are just a few. Hey, Craig. Hi, how are you? But these are just a few of the things that we are seeing in America. It's so crazy because you would just never think that you would see these things in America, but here we are. And so here's a quote from one of the thought leaders in thought reform, cults, brainwashing. His name is Robert Lifton. He says, brainwashing soon developed a life of its own. Originally used to describe Chinese indoctrination techniques, it was quickly applied to Russian and Eastern European approaches, and then to just about anything which the communists did anywhere. When I was So let me just give you a little bit of background. So my hey Jensel Gary, hi. Miss Jamie, you feel like we live in crazy clown world? We definitely do. You're not alone. So let me just back up and give you guys more of the story. So in 2017, some of you already know, God spoke to my heart and told me that my skin color had become an idol in my life. Prior to that, I had just been I've just been learning about Dr. Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams, Milton Friedman. And I was like, I had never heard of these men. I was like, wow, I was really shocked to learn all about them. And because they were so brilliant. Not, you think like, of course you would know these people, because how could you not know minds that are just so incredibly brilliant? And hey, King Tabernacle, hi. Oh, thanks for the gift the other day. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So when I was learning about these things, and it was like a gut punch, because growing up as a Black person in America, you were always, everywhere you go, you hear, Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are racist. It's just constantly this whole thing. And you hear it at school, you hear it at home, you hear it everywhere. Your friends are saying, everybody's telling you these things. And so it's very hard to see anything else, because that in itself is an indoctrination. You are literally being this loop begins to play in your mind of this concept about Republicans, white people, all these things, but it's all based on a lie. Like, none of these things, most of the things that you hear, none of them are true. And so when I was forced to challenge my own thinking, when I was forced to and when I say force, I mean just because I'm a curious person by nature. And so I just went to go look up some of these things. Like, I just happened to be having a conversation with a family member, and we were talking about BLM. And I was like, oh, let me go look up the numbers of police shootings as opposed to Black on Black crime, yada, yada, yada. I went, and this is how I found Dr. Thomas Sowell. And so you're just like, it's like a gut punch, because it feels like everything that you've been told was a lie. And then here you are reading these, brilliant men, and this makes way more sense. This sounds right. And then when you read other historians or people, other books around it, it's confirming that you just realize, okay, I've been lied to. Be Balash, thank you so much for speaking the truth. I love your post. Oh, thank you so much. It's just like missionary work for me. That's what I feel like. So it's my honor and pleasure. I'm proud that God put me on the battlefield to do this work. I love it. It's a labor of love. But when I took this information to my family, when I started telling my family about these things, absolutely brilliant people can still be deceived, Jeremiah. That is correct. That's part of thought reform cults. It is absolutely true. So don't ever think you're too smart to be like people that are in cults. It's not because they're stupid. I mean, they can be stupid, but it's not because they're stupid. There is a strategic process that happens that people are taken through, which we're going to talk about some of that it can literally be anyone. That's why you have to be rooted and grounded in truth. You have to be rooted and grounded in truth. And so I took this information to my family. I'm like calling up my mom, like, Mom, we're voting for the wrong people. Like, oh, my mom says to me, and I hate to, I tell the story all the time. It's a part of it when I go on and I speak around the country, and I tell people about this. I'm not trying to throw my mom under the bus, but this is just what happened. And y'all keep praying for her. But I think that there is some breakthrough coming, but she says, oh my God, she's drunk the Kool-Aid. It's so funny now that I think about it now, because I don't think it was me that had drunk. I was decultifying myself. I was getting deprogrammed. It's so funny. But well, when I was asking not just my family, but when I was asking other Christian believers, how do we reconcile our faith and the support of this blatant, strong support of abortion, this blatant, strong support of anything and everything LGBTQ, not just like, okay, you live your life, rule, no, you have to be in lockstep with they are fervently pushing laws. How do we reconcile our faith with these ideas? How do we reconcile socialism with our faith? That is, I don't care what these crazy so-called lefty Christians say that Jesus was a socialist. No, he was not. No, he was not. There is nothing in the Bible that supports Jesus being a socialist. That is some very funky exegesis or whatever. Wisdom is not knowledge about things. Great rulers of high education do awful things. Yeah, that's true. And so when many of the people around me could not give me a good answer, or they would push back with like, yeah, I know that they're doing that, but I'm still voting for these people. There was no one was saying, that's a good point. Let me go look at that. Tell me a little bit more about what you're learning. I didn't get that. And so it dawned on me that, okay, this is more than just support for a particular political party. This is a little bit more than that. And so just my family background. So my family was, we had cult members in my family. And so I am very familiar with cults. I am very familiar with cults, and I have grown up with them all my life because my family was deeply involved in a particular cult. And we'll talk about that more in the book. But that was the first thing that I thought of when I got so much pushback. Like, this is not just support for a political party. This is like a cult. And so I started buying all these books and reading all these, I think it was People magazine had like put out, they had done like this study on cults. Hey, Pro2, hey. And so I was like just kind of becoming obsessed with studying them because it was instinct, really. It was the leading of the Holy Spirit and instinct that was like, okay, there's something to this cult Democrat. There's something to this. And so I just started reading and researching, and I probably, I kind of, when the education piece kind of took off, like I was really engulfed in that, but that helped me to see that the classroom is that's their sanctuary. We wonder why there are so many people that are so, it's like, how aren't people seeing this? How aren't more people seeing this? Like, you would think that you go from an economy that we had with Trump. And then we go to Biden, and in less than, within like 6 months, you start to see it tank. It was supposed to be so much better. It was supposed to be all these things. And then it's like a sharp dive, and you would think people would say, okay, this is a problem. Now we are seeing, hi, Fred LaHule. Hi, Fred. We are seeing people start to come out of it. And there are always people that never really say anything, but they are coming out of it too. But those that are still, they're still so tied to it. It's really bizarre, right? Don't you guys? I mean, it is very bizarre. And so when you start to read about cults, you will quickly see that this thing has been going on for quite some time. They have been very strategic. Our education system plays a huge role in why so many people are in the Democrat cult and why it is so hard for them to get out, because it's like, well, how come you can't see this? This is so obvious. Like, we say this amongst ourselves all the time. We try so hard. This is King Tabernacle on YouTube. We try so hard not to belong to cults, only to follow these, quote, pro-Black internet cults that teach us all about racial idolatry, tarot cards, crystals, voodoo, and everything else. Okay? Because I believe, like, once you are in it, it's very hard to, anything goes, because they're not grounded in truth. And so, and what they do to your minds is they will tell you a lie and then provide like little bits and pieces of truth that keeps you just enough to hang on to it, but it's never enough of the truth. It's never of the truth. It's just a little bit of truth, but mostly lies, and it keeps you still participating in the thing. Now, I know people are going to say, like, and I'm writing this in the book, that doesn't, yes, I know that there are people in the Republican Party as well that have a cult-like leaning to the Republican Party. There are certainly people who are like the cult of Trump. There are, I mean, I'm not saying that the Republicans don't have pieces of this, but the Democrat Party, and in the book, I go into much more detail. It is literally like when you see this all laid out, it is like it's quite fascinating, and it's kind of scary that we have allowed this to happen, because at the end of the day, our children are the ones that are being affected, because the ones that are adults now, they were children at one point in time. They were sitting in those indoctrination camps, formerly known as public schools, and they were getting their thoughts were being reformed as well. And the teachers now, they send them to teacher trainings where all this critical race theory and gender ideology comes from. They send them there, so the teachers are constantly being re-educated on the updates of the cult, and so that's how the cycle keeps going. All right, so the process of breaking America, that's this is what is happening. This is a very sad, it's very sad, but this is the process of breaking America. This is what is happening to our country. Number one, the assault upon identity. All throughout the Bible, all throughout, anytime you want to destroy someone, you attack who they are. You make them question who they are. You make them want to be something else. I mean, I think you guys already know where that's why this whole LGBTQ, the alphabet thing, is such a big thing, because you are attacked about your identity. Do you really know who you are? Do you really, this just kind of goes back to the garden, like, did God really say that? Are you really made in the image of God? Miss Jamie says, I'm putting my kids in Catholic school starting next school year. I can't continue to let my kids be exposed. Listen, I say mass exodus, get them out of there. You have a short window of time to get your children properly educated. And most of the public schools today, I'm sorry, I No. I think homeschooling is the absolute best. I think that is the absolute best. But if you can't homeschool, find you a classical charter school, find you a good Catholic school, and stay on them too. Stay on them too, because unless they are under your care, unless you know exactly, you just can't ever trust it. That's how I feel. I'm telling you what I know. I get it. I'm white and I can't stand them. Glad some are waking up that those woke people are the biggest frauds. Yeah. And so, the assault upon your identity, the traditions and your beliefs, they must die. There's no compromise. It's totalism. It is total and complete removal. You have to be stripped of everything. You have to be stripped and be made anew, be remade in the image of their little cult. You can't have your traditions. You can't have your, you can't do any of those things. You have to submit to the cult. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes here. They will tell you, your life experiences, you can't really trust that. If somebody says to you, like, I'm not racist. You have a white person like, I'm not racist. Oh no. You can't trust that. Only if you're Black or in the oppressed class, then can you say it's my life experience. That's when it counts. But if you are white and you say, you know what? No, I am not racist. My family, we have always, we weren't taught that. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. They are looking for complete and total control. And so, for instance, like when they said, we had the shooting there in Tennessee at the school, and they said that you can't trust what you've seen. You can't trust that. It's only what, remember Corinne Jean-Pierre, she was like, it's the trans people. Those are the ones that are really under attack. Do y'all remember that? Well, let me play it for you. If you don't remember, if you did not see, let me share this with you. This one here. Yes, Miss Corinne Jean-Pierre says that it is the trans people, honey.
The Kentucky legislature overrode the governor's veto of a bill that restricts aspects of trans youth, gender affirming care, and the use of bathrooms. I know that the White House released a proclamation for Trans Day of Visibility. There is a march happening tomorrow to commemorate this day, but also to protest these type of bills that are continuing to be passed and advanced in legislatures across the country.
Yes, she is an idiot.
What is the White House's message to these lawmakers that are passing these bills and to those who are taking to the streets to protest them?
So look, first of all, we support peaceful protest. We think it's important for Americans and people just across the country to make their voices heard, just as long as it's peaceful. And we've been very clear about these anti-LGBTQ bills that we're seeing in state legislatures across the country, in particular these anti-trans bills, as they attack trans kids, as they attack trans parents. It is shameful and it is unacceptable. As you mentioned, tomorrow's Trans Visibility Day, on a day that we should be lifting up our trans kids, our trans youth, and making sure that they feel seen. We're seeing more and more of these hateful bills. And that's what Republicans want to spend their time on. They don't want to talk about lowering costs. They don't want to talk about actually making Americans' lives better. They want to take away people's freedoms. And one of the things that we saw during the midterm elections is that people don't want their freedoms to be taken. They want us to fight for their freedoms. King. And so it is shameful. It is disturbing. And our hearts go out to the trans community as they are under attack right now. But this is a president who has said many times before he has their backs. He will continue to have their backs.
So it's not about those victims. It's not about the victims. It's about the trans people. The identity. It's about them. The identity that they want you to have. The one that they deem important. Not, I mean, how seared does your conscience have to be where you value, when you say that the person who shot 3 kids, their group, and 3 adults, that their group is under attack? Like, can you think about that for a second? Like, who you have to be only someone who has lost ability to reason, only someone who has lost the ability to have a conscience, to have lost the ability to have compassion, could say something like that. That's not just support for a party. That's beyond, that's something else. And someone did mention in the comments that this is a spiritual thing. This is absolutely a spiritual thing. Cults tend to be very they tend to have a spiritual bend to them anyway. A lot of times it is sort of religious. But there are political cults. There are cults around eating. There's cults around self-help. There's all types of cults. But anyway, okay, so the assault upon your identity, the establishment of guilt. We see this with critical race theory and white guilt, anti-racism. It is not good enough for you to say, I'm not racist. No, you have to be anti-racist. You have to acknowledge and confess yourself. We'll get to a little bit of the confession part, but you have to acknowledge this and, you know, show, and they demand that you express how at fault you are. So even recently, our friend here, Nancy, where's my, did I not? Oh, shoot. Thought I had Nancy's tweet for you guys on Instagram. I will read it to you. This is what Nancy Pelosi said. It's sick. Like, these people are crazy. She says the grand jury has acted upon the facts and the law. No one is above the law, and everyone has the right to a trial to prove innocence. Hopefully, the former president will peacefully respect the system, which grants him that right. No. Nancy, girl, for as long as you've been in Congress, you don't know that you are innocent? You are presumed innocent. You don't have to, you're not proving, you're presumed innocent. And then you have to be proved guilty, not proved innocent, boo. Like, you missed, you'd been in Congress for doggone near 100 years, and you don't know that you're presumed innocent? But it's like, but they don't care. It is not about, it's about establishing the guilt. You're guilty already. We're not, what Constitution? We're not abiding by the Constitution, schmonstitution, whatever. We're not going by that. Please, no. But you have to establish that guilt. Number 3, let's see. It goes beyond rejecting truth, but God gives them over to absurdity. Yeah. Once they reject the truth, God gives them over to themselves. Basically, He gives them over to their reprobate mind. So they reject. Basically, this is how I look at it. I see. Jamie says, "Oh, Nancy, go eat some ice cream and get some injections. You're not relevant anymore, lady. Girl, ain't that the truth?" How I look at it is that God says, "My will be done," and then humanity says, "No, my will," and God says, "Okay." So when He takes His hand off, you don't want that. You don't want that kind of trouble. Honey, honey, yes, where are you from? I am from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. I'm like half and half, half in the South, half in the North. All right. So number 3, the self-betrayal, saying you believe something that you actually do not believe in order to survive. You're basically going along to get along. We see that all the time. So you see people like literally, I know y'all have heard this. I know y'all have heard this. If you have people that you've tried to talk to about these situations, and maybe it's at work, maybe it's family members, you're trying to have these conversations and you're like, don't you find this crazy? And they're like, well, I do, but I just can't say anything, because I don't want anybody to come after me. But that's why they do it. That's the whole thing about Trump. It is, we're going to come after you. We don't care if you're the former president. We don't care if this crime, so-called crime, doesn't even make sense. That the FBC, nobody has found this worthy to investigate. Oh, but this Soros DA, we got somebody. They'll do it. It is to instill fear in people so that you won't say anything. That's the point. It is, we will remove you off of Twitter. We will come after your bank accounts. We will do whatever we want to do because we want to show ourselves as total and in complete control. And so it is unbelievable that America has gone this far. And here's the thing that this blows my mind as well. And this is how you know people's consciences are seared. These high-level Democrats and some Republicans who are willing to look the other way while the country goes down the drain, they're not even thinking about their own grandchildren. They're not even thinking about their own nieces and nephews. They are completely and totally committed to the cult, the communist agenda. They are completely committed. Jamie says, my neighbor put up their Trump MAGA flag and they already had people complain. It's such crap. Yeah, they're coming for us all, Keisha. It's true. It is true. Conscience seared. Yes. This is how you know, because none of them stop and say, you know what? Maybe Joe Manchin from time to time, maybe. And he, a slight maybe. They don't say, like, gosh, this is not right. Let me not do this. They don't say that. Like, even when you're doing something that you ain't got no business doing, typically, you get that little small, still voice that says, maybe I shouldn't do this. But when you are, all this evil is surrounding you, you just keep on doing it. That, okay, this is something else. They have crossed the Rubicon. They are mutilating little children. And Corinne Jean-Pierre will get her Raggedy Ann head self up there and say things like, we have Trans Visibility Day. The trans people are under attack. Lady, what is wrong? What happened to you? You're in the cult. You're in the cult. You can't see it because you've been brainwashed, and you will do anything they tell you to do, even mutilate children's bodies and get on TV and advocate for it. Not only are you gonna say you agree with it, you advocate for it. You want to push policies to codify it into law. That's some bold demonic stuff. All right. Number 5, the breaking point. Total conflict and the basic fear. Again, this is what's happening to Trump. You will bow down or we will make your life a living hell. Doesn't matter if it's true. And don't get me wrong, DeSantis will experience the same thing. People are like, oh, DeSantis has no baggage. He's so much better and great. Look, y'all know I love me some DeSantis. He is great and fantastic. That's my guy. But he's going to experience this. If he runs for president, if he decides to run, and he wins, Watch what I tell you. Mark my words. This is, what is this? April 1st, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If he goes in there with the same boldness and courage that he has right now, which I think he absolutely would if he decided to run and he ran and won, they would do the exact same thing. So this whole notion, because this is what people don't understand. If you are talking about if you are saying, if you're one of these people, well, DeSantis is, he doesn't have any baggage. I'm just tired of the drama. Oh, the devil ain't tired of the drama. The demons are not tired of the drama. They are full steam ahead. You think that, DeSantis not having any back. Trump didn't have no Russia back. All of those things they would do, it was made up. They will make it up. They will make it up. They will. This you are fooling yourself if you think that these people aren't serious about their agenda. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he has no baggage. They will make up the baggage. Y'all, come on, y'all. We've seen this before. We've seen this already. We've seen this show before. So stop saying that. Oh, well, he's just cleaner. Oh, we just want to go peaceful. Just go back to, being nice and just being America 40 years ago. If you think that, I've got 2 bridges in Brooklyn to sell you. Not one, but 2, all for the low price. This is not that, people. This is not that. If we do not understand the devil that we are fighting, you have some problems. You have to understand your enemy. Now, I'm not a battlefield. I am not. Listen, I like my makeup and my nails, and I like my little American life. I really, really do. But one thing I do understand is battle, and I am not trying to be on nobody's battlefield, honey. That is not that way. I'm spiritually on the battlefield, but I don't want to be physically on nobody's battlefield. All right. But I do understand these things. I understand it. And hey, Mike, your girl, we have to understand who we're fighting. Okay. So let's not be naive. Don't be deceived. Thank you, Jamie. You're so sweet. Don't be deceived. Do not be deceived. It's not going to be, we just need Ron to say. First of all, there is no one person who's going to say this. It's this, our whole nation. The fact that you have quote unquote Republicans or conservatives who are like, we just need DeSantis and he'll just fix everything. That ain't even how our government works. That's how you know people are they're not paying attention. They don't understand how our government works. And they just not, they just wrong. It's we the people. This is a bottom up situation. This is a bottom up government. Oh, we just need a one on high to come down. No. The same things that we would need to do right now, which is organize, which is in some cases maybe protest, whatever, peacefully, of course. I do not, nothing violent or anything like that. However, there needs to be a movement of some kind from the bottom up. That's how you make politicians do stuff in this country. Bottom up. That's how it works. Well, they do masculine men would fight for women and children and stand in the way. But for years, the establishment blurred those lines. We, the people, need to focus. Yes. Focus. That's what we do need to focus. QK for president. No. And put money in their pocket. Yes. I mean, you wait, King, are you saying they want to put money in their pocket, or we need to help them win by putting money in their pocket, because we do need to help good candidates win. Let's see, my 14-year-old son is sitting here listening to you as well, and he says, you're a bad. Oh, thank you, son. You're so sweet. You're so sweet and kind. Thank you. That makes a woman of a particular age feel good. Thank you so much. We vote with our dollars. Yes, we do. I mean, but we don't have enough people, King, that they don't even know. The ones who would actually donate, they're like, they are so politically blind as well. They are, oh God, I just can't even stand it. It's just so annoying. Okay, I don't want to be on here too long because I got a couple things I have to do. Let's see. Number 6, leniency and opportunity. Okay. When we're married, I'll be the first hubby. Y'all are too funny. Let's see. Leniency and opportunity. So remember, COVID happened, right? Oh, lockdown, shutdown. The government said, I am going to make you, force you not to provide for your family. The government said, you can't, you go to work. No, we said you cannot provide for your family. You cannot provide for your family. I mean, this is insane. In the United States of America, the government said that you were not allowed to provide for your family unless you were an essential person. But then they showed their just benevolence and their great, they were the benevolent dictator and said, okay, all right, everybody, we'll give you a little leniency. We'll give you just a little leniency, okay? Are we fasting tonight or snacking? Are we? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm not. I'm not fasting. But it's a leniency and the opportunity. Oh, we'll give you a little leniency. We had the brute force of the government for 2 years, and now we're going to give you a little leniency and opportunity. Okay. We're so nice and kind and wonderful. Don't you just love us? Look, we're opening the country back up. We still got your kids sitting outside with masks on in New York and California and stuff. We're just so kind and wonderful. Like, don't just elect us because we're so great. That's the leniency and opportunity. But I know you all have heard already that they are already talking about another pandemic. So this is only for a short time. These people, the cult leaders, they never forget the agenda. They are always focused. They are always keeping their mind focused on the goal. The goal is communism. The goal is turning America into a communist nation. They will never relinquish that thought. So this whole leniency that we think we're experiencing right now, it's really not, because then now we have we have the banking stuff, we have the dollar stuff, we have the oil stuff, we have the food stuff. It's like it's this false relief because they're still on task. They gave themselves way too much credit. Yeah, exactly. And so number 7, the compulsion to confess. Again, so I don't know. There's this girl. Her name is Just Pearly Things. She does videos about like feminine, like being a feminine woman and being a traditional wife and those things like that. And she had Nick Fuentes on her show. And, I guess her community was like, oh my God, how can you have her? White supremacist, racist, whatever. It's like, she can, first of all, she can talk to whomever she wants to talk to. That's what I think. But what she did was she went and apologized. This is why the Dems get their sheep in line. Yes, that is right. If you are to even be a Democrat, you must fall in line. There is no, Joe Manchin spoke out like 2 times. And is he even still alive? Like, I ain't seen Joe Manchin's. I ain't even seen him. Have y'all seen anything from Joe Manchin? I ain't heard from Joe Manchin. Barely hear from Bernie Sanders. You barely even hear from the people who peek their head out a little bit and might want to kind of say a little something. And the cult leaders, they come and then they say, have you lost your mind? You know who you serve. Get in line or get out. It is literally a cult. That is exactly, think about Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what they do. When you do not, if you study any cult, a hard Scientology, any of these cults, you will see that if somebody is trying to flee, it is it is dogmatic. It is awful what they do to these people who try to get out. It's out of control. It is out of control. And so they will make you confess. They make you confess your sins, so to speak. And you have to apologize. They make you apologize, because if you don't, there will be hell to pay. And so I was just going through, these are some of the things that we're seeing. And these are some of the Mormons too. Yeah. These are some of the things that will be in the book. And it's so prevalent right now. So I just wanted to come on and talk about some of these things. Do you guys have any questions for me about any of this stuff? But I think that, I know that God put me here for such a time as this, because, and the family that I grew up in, with it being having family members who were so involved in cults, that it was, it was almost like it was just divine that this whole thing happened to me. Can't wait to support your book. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so nervous about it. You guys have no idea. Can I rollerblade? Yes, I can. I learned when I was 10 years old. I was determined to do it. I got my first pair of rollerblades that Christmas when I was 10 years old, and I spent all day on those rollerblades. I was determined to learn how to rollerblade, and I did. And I was skating backwards, and well, not that day, but I learned how to skate backwards and everything. So yes, I can rollerblade. Oh, you guys are so great. I thank you so much. But don't be, I love your perspective and your awakening story. Oh, thank you. Keep spreading the truth. Thank you guys so much. If you feel like sharing and if supporting, there's my Cash App in there. I don't get paid for these things. I can't monetize on any of this stuff. They done taken away the little bit of change I was making on Instagram. I got like one little thing payout, and then they was like, nope. And so I really don't make a lot. I don't make money from this. So if you want to support, I really could use it, honestly. Totally awesome and beautiful. Oh, thank you, Cashman. Thank you so much. You guys are so wonderful. I love our little family that I feel like we are creating over here. It's been really cool. I love the interaction like this. I love my dream. I would love to have like a live show, and then I can have like guests in the audience. I would love to do that. It would be so much fun. That's my dream. Let's see. May the Holy Spirit be upon you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Cashman. To 5 rollerblade date we both put on Daisy Dukes. I don't want to see a man in Daisy Dukes. Not at all. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching as always. Thank you. I love you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye, Instagram.